Wuthering Heights is returning to the big screen in 2026, and the casting of Heathcliff is already stirring debate. Before there was Edward Cullen, Damon Salvatore, or even Mr. Rochester, there was Heathcliff. A man too wild for a century, too cruel for romance, and too unforgettable to die. No version of this passionate anti-hero has ever left fans truly satisfied, but Heathcliff's story isn't confined to the moors or to any one actor. He's become something more, a muse of darkness and desire, haunting novels and films for nearly 2 centuries. Today, we'll trace his inspiration through every generation, from the few authors who confirmed his influence to the many others who only hinted at it. Let's meet Emily Brontë's Heathcliff again, from windswept moors to leather jackets to dazzling immortal skin. Before we trace Heathcliff's legacy, we need to meet the archetype behind him. Heathcliff is one of literature's clearest Byronic heroes, a figure shaped by the poet Lord Byron's brooding, self-destructive protagonists. Byronic heroes live outside society's rules. They were magnetic, dangerous, deeply flawed, and almost always fueled by an obsessive passion or inner wound. Heathcliff arrives at Wuthering Heights as an adopted child of unknown origins, instantly treated as an outsider. His race and background are never defined, reinforcing how others other him from the start. The abuse he suffers hardens him into the cynical, vengeful man he becomes. But the heart of the Byronic hero is obsession, and Heathcliff's is Catherine. His love for her is absolute, consuming, and bound up with identity. When he loses her, it destroys whatever humanity he had left. Instead of healing, he turns to vengeance, haunting not only Catherine's husband and brother, but also the next generation. This is what makes Heathcliff so enduring. He is not merely inspired by the Byronic archetype, he embodies it so completely that for many readers, Heathcliff is the Byronic hero. When the Brontë sisters' Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre were first published in 1847, readers immediately compared them to one another. A dark, brooding master, a heroine, drawn to him against her better judgment, and love, teetering between passion and punishment. It's easy to picture the sisters writing side by side, exchanging drafts, debating what love and morality should look like on the page. After all, the Brontës had grown up creating shared imaginary worlds, testing boundaries even then. While Rochester hides his wife in the attic, Heathcliff imprisons Isabella in his home. Different motives, same Gothic claustrophobia. Many scholars see Jane Eyre as Charlotte's moral reply to Emily's untamed vision, passion transformed into repentance. Rochester feels like her attempt to reshape Emily's Heathcliff into something the world could accept. He became the more respectable Byronic hero. Wounded, self-aware, capable of guilt, and ultimately redeemable. He's the version readers could safely fall in love with. Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca is often called a modern Jane Eyre, though its spirit feels closer to Wuthering Heights. Literary critics have frequently compared Maxim de Winter to both Rochester and Heathcliff. Refined, guilt-ridden, and haunted by a woman who won't stay buried. Rebecca's ghost fills the house the way Catherine filled the moors, through memory and jealousy. Heathcliff has always felt a little otherworldly, dark, foreign, half alive. Bram Stoker's Dracula took the Gothic from the moors to the grave, carrying echoes of Heathcliff's storm across the new century. Critics have long noted the kinship between them. Both are outsiders, obsessive, and hungry for what they've lost. Heathcliff devours lives emotionally. Dracula does it literally. Like Dracula, Heathcliff blurs the line between human and something darker. He's the man who dug up Catherine's grave just to hold her again, and who spent his final days wandering the moors without eating or sleeping, as if already half dead. Dracula is Heathcliff made eternal. Love becomes infection. Desire becomes curse. Under the Paris Opera House, Heathcliff wears a mask. Erik, the Phantom, is another outcast who mistakes obsession for love. He hides his face the way Heathcliff hides his pain, demanding devotion on his own terms, and destroying what he can't possess. Candlelight replaces Stormlight. Music replaces the Moors. But the story remains the same. The beauty, the beast, and the impossible promise that love could redeem either. By the 1920s, Gothic mansions had turned into glittering parties, but their ghosts never left. J. Gatsby and Heathcliff share one of the clearest parallels in literature, the self-made reinvention. Heathcliff disappears as a poor stable boy and returns wealthy, polished and mysterious, all to prove himself worthy of the woman he lost. Gatsby does the same thing in a tux and with a mansion. And like Heathcliff, he dies believing his devotion could undo time. Let's go back to the undead. It's no wonder we find Heathcliff again in the vampire renaissance of the 2000s. Vampires perfectly capture the essence of the Gothic lover: immortality, longing, and forbidden desire. Stephenie Meyer confirmed the link herself. Her Eclipse novel was directly inspired by Wuthering Heights. Bella and Edward discussed the book on page, and Meyer has said she liked the confusion over who is Heathcliff and who is Edgar. Edward fills the Edgar role, steady, composed, and offering Bella a life of safety and stability. Jacob, on the other hand, is the Heathcliff figure, the wild, passionate force that challenges her, grounds her, and represents the life she could choose without sacrificing her humanity. He's the warm, living alternative to Edward's cold immortality. But in the end, the story makes clear that Bella's love for Edward belongs to a different category altogether. The kind of passion Catherine feels for Heathcliff. It doesn't operate within ordinary human boundaries. In Wuthering Heights, Catherine famously says, "I am Heathcliff," insisting they share one soul. Meyer lifts that same twin flame idea for Bella and Edward, love that exists beyond life, death, and any realistic future. Eclipse even caused a spike in Wuthering Heights sales, proving Heathcliff still haunts new generations of readers. If Edward is a romanticized Heathcliff, Damon Salvatore is the feral one. He's ruthless, cold-hearted, and fueled by revenge. Just when he seems redeemed, he proves he's still ruled by passion. Like Heathcliff, Damon's life and death orbit the women he loves. His first love is named Catherine, and his true love, Elena, is her doppelganger. It mirrors Wuthering Heights. Catherine dies, her daughter Kathy survives to love again. Damon's humanity switch is practically lifted from Heathcliff. After Catherine's death, Heathcliff becomes a walking void, violent, sleepless, consumed. Almost as if he's turned humanity off, the same way Damon literally can. Even within the show, Wuthering Heights appears. Elena is given a copy of the novel, a nod to the story that helped shape her own. Then there's Ross Poldark, the human version of Heathcliff. He's moody, proud, and shaped by the wild Cornish cliffs that define his world as much as the moors defined Heathcliff's. Both men marry others, but remain consumed by their first loves. Ross and Elizabeth repeat Heathcliff and Catherine's tragedy, two people whose unresolved passion destroys everyone around them. Even Elizabeth's death in childbirth has a haunting echo of Catherine's early death, the moment that unleashes Heathcliff's most destructive rage. Ross is fully human, but his mistakes and obsessions prove that Heathcliff doesn't need immortality to live on. Let's briefly touch on a handful of other modern echoes of Heathcliff. Spike, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's the punk rock Heathcliff, violent, passionate, redeemed through love. Sirius Black and Severus Snape, two sides of the same haunted coin. Misunderstood, loyal, defined by loss. Snape's obsession with Lily continues long after her death and changes the life of her child, but this time for the better. Anakin Skywalker, love, obsession, downfall, redemption. A cosmic Heathcliff. Live-action Maleficent. She's the feminine mirror, a villain of vengeance who finds her soul again among the Moors. Christian Grey, the sanitized descendant. Originally a Twilight fanfic creation, he adds a new element to control, desire, and danger. Villanelle, the gender-flipped archetype. Cunning, charming, and violent. How has one man, terrible, abusive, ruthless, yet passionate, inspired so many? A figure consumed by revenge, unmoved by redemption, unworthy of heaven, and yet unforgettable. Perhaps because Heathcliff lets us see ourselves at our most unguarded. He lets us call our darkness love. He is the wildness we lost when the world told us to be civilized. And maybe that's why he never dies, because he isn't just a man, but an idea. So few of these inspirations were ever confirmed, but we can't help finding his shadow in every new story of passion and ruin. Wuthering Heights is a tragedy, but generations have rewritten it as a romance, as if to fix it, to heal it, or to give Heathcliff the ending he never got. Who do you see him in? Which version is your favorite? Next time we'll go back to the beginning, to Emily herself, and the mystery of who inspired Heathcliff. And after that, we'll ask a darker question. Was our unreliable narrator, Nellie Dean, the true villain all along? Thank you for watching Meet the Muse.